Hey everyone, how are you guys? I just got done watching Godzilla vs. Kong like a moment ago, like the original one, not the new one, King Kong vs. Godzilla. And man, what a treat to get off from watching that great movie to come and reading about this. So Sayaka came on tonight, and a few things have been stated. Nothing, well, still stuff that's extreme that, although while it's not much, I'm going to talk about it in a video. So, I know tonight, Sayaka has confirmed that he's seen the Hong Kong War. He's seen the action scene, and he doesn't describe everything that happens, like what all battle stuff they are, but here's what he had to say about the Hong Kong battle. Tonight, Sayaka stated, "I've seen the action scene of Hong Kong War. The battle between Godzilla and Kong is about 5 minutes. It's a completely continuous scene that doesn't switch to the human story. Godzilla looks like a beast. He's very violent." That is great news in my opinion. I really did love to hear that. Just before we get on topic about this, he did mention one other thing. Someone asked about Mega Godzilla. In case you don't know what Mega Godzilla is, if you've seen the toy leaks, there's a toy where Godzilla has a big red thing on his back, and the toy box is referred to as Mega Godzilla. Sayaka stated here that Mega Godzilla is not in the battle between Godzilla vs. Kong, at least. I don't believe he hasn't mentioned the Mech Godzilla battle or anything, but at the very least, is not in the Godzilla and Kong battle. So, if the Mega Godzilla is in the movie, it's not in this battle. But, let's get on talking about this, shall we? So, what can we gather from this? Well, right here, which Sayaka already did say multiple times in the past, so you guys have some context. The Hong Kong War will be like Pacific Rim. It will be neon lit. And it will also be at night, but that's not what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, the CGI looks like 2014 quality. He said that in the past. So here's what he says here. It's a big thing. He only talks about one battle, and that is the main fight of the movie, Godzilla vs. King Kong. And he says he saw it. His predictions say it's about 5 minutes long. I don't know if he means that as in he just guessed it, or he actually timed how long it is. But that's actually pretty good. I saw for the most part pretty positive feedback to the fact that the battle would be 5 minutes long. And I did see there was one person who was complaining, but overall I did see people did enjoy the fact that they were happy with the fact that the battle was just 5 minutes long with no cutaways. I think that sounds great, personally. The battle isn't too long, where it's going to get boring, and there's basically going to be no cutaways. I watched the original King Kong vs. Godzilla battle tonight. And that battle, if I had to guess off the top of my head, it was probably like 6 or 7 minutes, if that. That was a very quick battle. It was probably more than that, but it felt pretty quick. The thing with that, though, is that I did desire more from that matchup in the original film, but in terms of lengthwise, but this isn't bad news at all. One thing, we won't get, if the human characters are crap, we won't get cutaways to the humans that are going to really affect the quality of the fight. King of the Monsters had this bad issue with the directing. The characters were horrible, and most of the final fight you couldn't even experience. It was really sad. This time it's going to be 5 minutes of continuous fighting. No information on what goes down or anything. I thought the really interesting quote here was the fact that Godzilla is going to look like a beast and he's going to be extremely violent. So, 5 minutes runtime, no cutaways. Sounds great to me if you ask. I think that's the equivalent to Batman vs. Superman's Ultimate Edition, which if you watch that fight, I actually do really like that fight. I know most of you guys don't, but it doesn't feel too long. It doesn't feel too short. Gets to the point, they fight for 5 minutes straight without no cutaways. It might be longer, it might be shorter, I don't know. And they get all the main awesome plot point, things that you expect these two characters doing. This film could do it as well. And remember, it's not going to be the only fight in the movie. There's going to be another one at some point between Godzilla and Kong. And then right after this, Sayaka has confirmed that whoever wins this battle is definitely going to move on to fight Mech Godzilla. Probably, that's what we assume. And then from there, they're going to team Mech Godzilla. Him directly saying that Godzilla is very violent and like a beast To me, I just assume right there that Godzilla's going to beat Kong. It is really interesting that he's going to be that violent and stuff. If I assume by violent, he's going to be doing a lot of biting, a lot of scratching, probably some tail whips and stuff. Stuff that, if it takes 5 minutes, if I had to assume just from that, Godzilla's not going to play around. He's going to beat the hell out of Kong kind of bad. Not that Kong won't get good hits and stuff. We do know that Kong's going to be able to wound Godzilla with his axe and such. Or, not necessarily his axe, but we know Godzilla is going to get wounded at some point in the film by Kong. And it's really interesting to think, though, he could get, like, the axe stuck in his gills or something, and Godzilla just keeps coming. He just tries to, like, almost kill Kong or something. No, like I said, though, I don't know if you guys don't like... You guys might not like the fact that it's only 5 minutes long, or feels like it. Like he said, though, he says about 5 minutes long. So again, he doesn't really specify if, he was just guessing it, or if he actually kept track. There was a thing like this that came out for King of the Monsters, where people guessed how long each battle was. And I believe they said, like, the battle in Boston, they guessed was about 15 minutes. Rodan vs. Ghidorah was like 30. And I think they said the Antarctica one was about like 3 to 5 minutes or something. And, I forget what the post exactly said, but it's all very fascinating. Like I said, I'm really excited to hear that Godzilla's going to be pretty violent. The no cutaways sound really good. Unless for some reason I did really care for the human story. But even then, if the monster stuff's great, it's fine. If the human stuff's bad, then I'm more than happy with more monster stuff to at least give us some enjoyment. I'm really curious because, like he says, he's seen the action scene in the Hong Kong War, so I assume that might mean everything. That might mean up till when they fight Mechagodzilla. So does that mean that, like, straight up he's going to end up fighting, like, it's going to be, like, no cutaways to the humans at all from like when Godzilla Kong fight to when like they fight Mechagodzilla? I would assume that just means there's no cutaways during the Godzilla and Kong fight. And since they will fight Mechagodzilla, 5 minutes of them fighting makes sense because it would definitely get boring if we're gonna get 3 different fights and they're all like taking up a large portion of the movie and stuff. Like if it's like a 20-minute long scene of continuous action, it would probably get pretty boring. And again, like I said, Mechagodzilla won't be at least in the Godzilla and Kong fight, so that's great news as well. So, what do you guys think? If you guys did enjoy, as always, please share, subscribe. You can read all this in Toho Kingdom your guys' self. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, as always, please share, subscribe. As always, peace. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, Future Kyle coming back real quick. I just wanted to mention too, because a lot of people I know I kind of talked about this in the video a little bit, but just because it's short doesn't mean it's not going to be entertaining or you should be less hyped about it. It's very likely that it would be pretty boring if it's like a 10-minute long battle or 15-minute long if it's going to be continuous action. That's why a lot of the films that have longer battles have more cutaways and stuff. Like, the battle in Boston and King of the Monsters was like actually like 15 minutes long without human cutaway stuff. It definitely would have been more boring. Not saying that changed anything, but which don't get mad at me. Like, I'm gonna explain it here in a future video. Or I've already explained the past about that. But anyway, so back on the thing. This movie, Adam said in the past, supposed to have titans everywhere going crazy on each other. It's very likely we have so far 4 confirmed battles. We're gonna have Godzilla vs. Kong round 1, Godzilla vs. Kong round 2, winner of that fight versus Mechagodzilla, and both of them fighting Mechagodzilla is pretty much the sounds of it. That's a lot of action that's going to happen throughout the movie, and it's definitely probably the smartest choice just to have it so these two, they're not, like, it's not overdoing it. We don't know, there could be more battles in the movie. Godzilla and Kong could have a third fight somewhere down the line in the movie that we don't know about, or possibly Kong fights Rodan, or Godzilla has a fight with another Titan. Just because, like I said, though, it might be for the best, so the fight doesn't get boring or anything too fast. So I hope you guys understand that. 5 minutes is going to feel like a lot more than it probably, you would think it would probably. So, it's not going to run up the screen time too much. So, I hope you guys understand about that. Can't wait to see your discussions down in the comments below. As always, thank you again for watching. As always, peace. Bye-bye.